guys? Welcome to the channel. It's Optimus, Felice Navidaddy, Daddy D, Daddy D, man. I've been by so many names on Twitter. I'm going to stick with Felice Navidaddy for now. If you don't know the joke, just laugh about it. Um, Quick recap about the other day. I am still laughing at the fact that somebody asked me if I lived in a pirate ship because of that exit sign. That had me rolling still. And as far as where they're parking all the shares, it is not in Brazil, and no, it is also not in that hatch. Okay, um, the shares are on the street; they're in the market. Okay, um, they're just not being used in the way that people think they are, and that's something I'm going to cover. I'm going to say something that I said on a Twitter space earlier that ruffled some feathers, and I'm glad it did. Most of retail has become the short seller. No, that is not clickbait. I'm going to actually prove it. Um, I know I jokingly say a lot on Twitter, and I'm going to say it a lot on here. There's a reason why they call us dumb money, right? Because we do dumb things with our money. And this is one of those things. I am not anti option. I am anti misinformed and uneducated people doing options, especially on a squeeze play. There are so many problems with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying options are bad. I'm not telling you what to do with your money. Please, make that bread, baby. That's it, right? But if the goal is to squeeze, there's something we need to talk about, right? It is not new news that Citadel, Susquehanna, which is far worse than Citadel, to be honest, and a bunch of other institutions have gone long on AMC. And everybody thinks that that's some magic pill. This is crazy that I even have to say what that means. It means they covered a lot. I'm not going to get some heat for that. But that means they've covered some, at least. Yes, I know they're still trying to cover and hide it with the options and the derivative market. I am well aware. But they don't have to actively short as much. And what I'm going to explain is how and why that happens. So, with that being said, we're going to hop over here. Investopedia seems to be the thing that all of us DD people use, right? So we just had to deal with it. I'm not going to read to you the entire thing of what a long or a short position is. By this time, most people should know. I'm going to do the key takeaways and maybe a paragraph or two from this one, a couple other websites. And listen, like I said, options are not necessarily the problem. It's how they're used and how they were taught to retail. Yes, I am saying that people in the movement screwed up. And like I'm saying, technically we, retail, became the short seller against our own stocks. So take everything with a grain of salt. Obviously, do your own research. Don't ever just blindly follow someone. Just hear what I'm saying. Right. Yes. With stocks, a long position means an investor has bought and owned shares of a stock. Obviously, that's not a big deal. On the flip side of the same equation, an investor with a short position owes stock to another person but has not actually bought them yet. Okay. With options, buying or holding a call or put option is a long position. The investor owns the right to buy or sell to the writing investor at a certain price. Conversely, selling or writing a call or put option is a short position. The writer must sell to or buy from the long position holder or buyer of the option. Selling for premiums is technically a short position. Right? Like, it's so simple when you read it like this. Like, oh, selling for selling the contract that's bearish. Interesting. It's technically a short position, right? Somebody's going to go, oh, but what about covered calls? I'm actually going to read a text from someone that, as they were going through this, the information that I gave them, they were like, wait, hold on. Then they explained it to themselves out loud, and then they caught it. And I'm going to read that text because it's very well explained by that person in that text message to me. And then I'm going to read a part of a DM from someone that helped spur this. And I'm not going to say who it is because I didn't tell him I was going to do it. But he is the smartest person I know when it comes to the stock market stuff. So I'm going to leave that at that. Covered call. Key takeaways. Popular option strategy used to generate income in the form of options premiums. Right? They only expect a minor increase or decrease in the underlying stock price for the life of the option. To execute a covered call, an investor holding a long position in an asset then writes or sells call options on the same asset. Covered calls are more often employed by those who intend to hold the underlying stock for a long time but do not expect a appreciable price increase in the near term. This strategy is ideal for investors who believe the underlying price will not move much over the near term. Cover calls are a neutral strategy, meaning the investor only expects a minor increase, right, from above. This strategy is often employed when an investor has a short-term neutral view on the asset, and for this reason holds the asset long and simultaneously has a short position via the option to generate income from the premium. Short position. It's kind of ironic, isn't it? It's called short-term hedge, right? So I don't know who's been teaching people all this option stuff that hasn't taught people this yet, but it needs to stop, obviously. Right? Like, it's just not okay. People in retail out here screaming, oh, but the shorts, have they covered? Have you? Do you see the problem? Dumb money has been shorting their own securities. How insane is this? Right? All right, now I'm going to read that person's message to me. Hold on. Okay, so she said, oh my God, oh my God, retail, parentheses, self-included, and parentheses, is so effing dumb. Ha ha ha. I can't believe we've been shorting our own stock. Hilarious. And then above, when she said she figured, she just explained it to herself. She said, it adversely affects the price because you're inflating supply of shares for options expiration dates. True. Now, this is about the cover calls specifically. Thusly, market makers don't have to delta hedge because you're supplying the shares on their behalf. That's partially true. So, not only are you shorting and creating a negative sentiment on the security that you like, right, if it's for a squeeze type of play, you're also helping them not have to hedge. I hope you're hearing what I'm saying. This is disgusting. I hope this is really starting to actually sink in. Now I'm going to go over what a short call is because there's something else that somebody brought up earlier. And now, granted, they weren't saying that I was wrong. They were saying, oh, but we need to get deeper in, like, and he wasn't wrong. I'm glad he actually brought this up. So a short call is a strategy involving a call option which obligates the call seller to sell a security to the call buyer at the strike price if that call is exercised. A short call is a bearish trading strategy reflecting a bet that the security underlying the option will fall in price. A short call involves more risk but requires less upfront money than a long put, another bearish trading strategy. Okay, so basically, the major ways people have been telling retail, when I'm saying people in retail, have been telling other people in retail, especially behind paywalls and other very potential funky stuff going on, is it's shorting. It's bearish. Even if there's strategies you're doing that aren't necessarily a short, it's still creating bearish momentum against the stock that you want to squeeze. Doesn't That's counterproductive, to say the least, right? The intuition there should be I should do the opposite if I want this thing to squeeze. If I want to make short-term cash, screw it. Who cares? So they go on to say, how does a short call work? A short call strategy is one of two simple ways option traders can take bearish positions. It involves selling call options or calls. Calls give the holder of the option the right to buy an underlying security at a specific price. The price of the underlying security falls. A short call strategy profits. If the price rises, there's unlimited exposure during the length of the time in the option is viable, which is known as a naked short call. To limit losses, some traders will exercise a short call while owning the underlying security, which is known as a covered call. There's the tie-in, right? So basically what happens is this is a form of arbitrage through the derivative chain. Okay, I'm going to do a thing on our video on arbitrage tomorrow. Essentially what happened here is you take your shares or the call, you sell them, you basically get a part of the spread back, right? So everything, not everything, the overwhelming majority of the way, right, that people have been taught in retail on how to do options for weeklies, whatever, on Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, blah, blah, blah. They've made you a short seller. I posted a meme earlier. I should have had it ready to go. Actually would have been a perfect thumbnail for this. It's the look at me, I'm the captain now guy, but it said look at me, you're the hedgy now. So that's actually what happened. Hypothetically speaking, tinfoil hat, I wouldn't be shocked if the institutions were laughing and saying, hey, ha ha ha, look at this. They helped us cover by doing dumb money things. And now we can be long. So when this thing runs up again, we're all Gucci. And they're just left giving us more and more and more money. It's crazy. I hope this information really sinks in. I'm not saying that options are the problem, but I'm saying that they're definitely hurting a potential squeeze play. People need to learn, and they need to do their own research, yes, especially when it comes to financial things. Make your own decisions and make them properly. But as for me, I know I don't have to worry if I've ever short sold a security that I liked on a squeeze play. I don't have to worry about any of that stuff, right? So, that being said, do some research. Obviously, I typed in cover calls, short calls, long positions, however you want to type it. Investopedia pulls them up. Find other websites, right? This stuff isn't hard. We just need to put the time in as retail to know the game better, right? We have all these new rules coming out and all the amendments that are going to make retail's movements in the market better. We'll have more transparency, we'll have more information, we'll have more forms being put out. Well, all of these things are coming in our favor. Be ready to use them. Because like I always say at the end of every video, let's get that bread, baby. But if you don't know how to play the game, you'll end up getting lost in the sauce, baby.